Welcome back to the Culture Crusade. I'm here with John Douglas. How are you, sir?
Doing well, sir. Thank you. I'm just sharing the sharing on my Twitter. There we go. Promo tweet has been sent.
Nice.
Your intro needs to be a little longer. Give me a little more time to kind of throw out those tweets out there, man. I got to be creative with it.
Yeah, I could take it out. I've been thinking of making a new intro. The current one is a little dated now. We've evolved a bit here on the channel. So maybe I will. Now, we are going to be diving into some fun stuff this week. Angry Joe, right? Is he around still? Apparently so.
Oh,
And he's
Joe.
saying stupid things on the internet, which is unfortunately kind of par for the course. But we're going to wait a little bit because people are still getting alerts, finding out that the stream is live and people are still arriving. And so we'll talk about some other, brief things before diving into the main topic. And something that I find, of course I would find this kind of cool. John, you're an author, but you're also a reviewer. And you've reviewed a little indie book that I'm kind of, attached to a little bit recently.
This little thing right here. Yeah, I did. Well, I mean, when I first got started with, wanting to, originally making my own channel and everything to establish a platform for myself as an indie author, I'm like, I'm going to be reading these books anyway. Why not go ahead and, throw in my 2 cents and, tell people how I felt while reading them. I reviewed quite a few indie books over the years. I did have yours on my shelf for quite some time. I think it was one of the first indie books that I might have bought way back in the day. This thing is actually in pretty good condition considering how long it's been on the shelf. And is for no malicious reason, and it took me so long to get to it. It's I've actually got a lot of books up here that I have not read that I've had for quite some time. It's just the TBR keeps growing. Indie authors are still delivering in spades where, mainstream really is not. And it's at times kind of hard to keep up. But I just keep chugging away and reading books because their indie authors are delivering what I want, which is new stories, interesting stories. Because what am I getting out of the machine? Like, you don't understand. Back in 2020, when I found like nerd, and more like in 2018, 2019, I found Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and Air July and You and a lot of others, and started to see where the cultural zeitgeist was going and just how bad it was, how everything that I loved was becoming a completely unwatchable, unreadable bit of dreck, and especially when it came to books. Because they stopped making really good covers. They stopped being, the gold standard in fantasy and science fiction. The publishers focused to a much different demographic. These days, we can kind of see and admit it's easy to tell. It's much more feminized. There's more women on the editing and ownership side is pushing to a female readership and, more female authors. And it's like, what is there for me? Well, the indies have provided in spades. And God bless you and all the other indie authors. You are my entertainment now. Like Gary from Nerdrotic once said, we are entertaining each other now because mainstream's not doing it. And yes, Shadow of the Conqueror was a book that I read. I decided it was finally on my TBR long enough. And I don't do star ratings or anything or 1 out of 10, anything out of that. I read something. And I tell people what I liked about it, and I talk about what was in it and what I thought maybe could use a little improvement. I hardly ever DNF anything, and Lord knows there was nothing in your book that was so objectionable and bad that I set it down. Like, God, I've read Sarah Douglas, for crying out loud. A lot of her. There's you want to talk about dark stuff in fantasy, like there's stuff in there that would make some of these book talk girls hair catch on fire if they read her work. Like, there was nothing was off the table when it came to this woman. There's absolutely brutal stuff. And if that's your kind of thing, go for it. She was a master of it. But Shadow of the Conqueror, great read. And when I was done reading, it gave me a lot to think about. A lot of it stuck with me in a way that a lot of other indie books have not stuck with me. And that was always nice to see, because sometimes you get a burger, and it's like the equivalent of Taco Bell, and that's all well and good. Sometimes you get a good restaurant burger, and hours later you're still full. So it's one of those situations.
That's awesome to hear. And I appreciate your review because it's always great to see like an impartial, objective review. People are probably aware that I get a bit of hate online. And when I say a bit, a lot, there's actually people actively trying to, say that I should be assaulted and calling for my death and crap like that. And interestingly, these are the type of people that go out of their way to dogpile and try and trash the book. And it's really interesting that the book overall, like if you have a look at the reviews on Amazon, on Audible, and even Goodreads, right? Really positive.
Goodreads.
Like, yeah, well, Goodreads is a thing.
Goodreads
right?
is the Reddit of book review sites.
It is. But on balance, overwhelmingly positive reception to the book. People really, really like it, and that is that's the consensus. And what's interesting, when I say most, nearly all of the reviews were of this nature, right? And then come to the time when I start speaking about pop culture, criticizing woke crap, and also talking about AI art. Oh, suddenly, the more outspoken people with a platform realize, oh, they can get a lot of attention by attacking me because there's a lot of people that hate me. And people that hate me, if they see anything criticizing me, they're interested in because that gives them a reason to justify what they dislike. And so a decent chunk of these, YouTube reviews and stuff like that end up skewing very negatively for obvious and clear partisan, political, ideological reasons, right? Because it gives them something to grift off of, to dogpile, and some of their most successful videos are attacking me, not because they make good reviews, but because it's attacking me. And that should tell you all you need to know about, the nature of it.
In preparation for my review, and Lit Devil, hello, sir. Good to see you.
Hello.
We're trashing Shad's book tonight, man. Get ready.
The Shadow of the Conqueror.
In preparation for like reading it, and I'd seen some reviews before. I did a little bit of research into the reviews to kind of see what other people were saying about the book, if there was a consensus, if I could, kind of glean something that nobody else did. And that was one of the things that struck me right off the bat, is that if I could sum up Shadow of the Conqueror in one word, it would be overhated. It's not as bad as a lot of the reviewers did. And some of them, it's very obvious that they only read your book because they wanted the algorithmic bump that they would get from having reviewed the book of a very prominent YouTube channel. They're like that. Yep. The ones that did that were very, very obvious. And I do think Daniel Green gave you a fair review.
His review is actually very fair. And that's the one I would point people to. If they want what actually is probably one of the best unbiased, and it's not all glazing, he has points of criticism, but very fair, is Daniel Green's review. Absolutely. And that's the one I would point to.
And
there these other reviews I've seen, it's like, okay, we're going to cover Shadiversity's Shadow of the Conqueror, and then inevitably they have to go over he's a Mormon and conservative.
Yes. Well,
you have to have it in there.
Yeah, why would that be relevant? It's almost like they're trying to poison the well, and because these are like, they're very left-leaning woke. It's always interesting that you look for critical review of Shadow of the Conqueror and they're left-leaning progressive. And this is why I appreciate Daniel's review, because he's left-leaning and progressive, but he gave a fair, unbiased review. Okay, but if you can pinpoint it to the date, as soon as I became a target of hate, right? That's when the left-leaning, progressive people, so it's like, oh, there's an excuse to attack Shad for. But they can't actually do anything about this thing. It's like, all right, if the book is, such absolute, crap as they're trying to say, it's like, well, the consensus isn't agreeing with them at all. The book is insanely well reviewed. And by the way, like, we're talking in the order of thousands of ratings. This is over 6, and this was like years ago. I think it's like up to 7,000 or more, right? Ratings, right? And the amount of ratings really gives a broad kind of perspective on, and a lot of authors would kill for this level of ratings. This is interesting in their book. This is
another thing that was interesting to me is there were people that were, remember you did your kind of follow-up video where you went over some of the more negative ratings and talked about them. Mm-hmm. There were an almost, I don't want to say equal, but there were enough videos criticizing you over that that it kind of got me to thinking. Now, here's the thing, Shad. I've been in the kind of indie author spaces for a couple years now, and you will have this phenomenon that occasionally happens where somebody comes up and they do something you're quote unquote not supposed to do. Charlotte Goodwin was an indie author a couple of months ago, right before my channel went kaput, and then she kind of put on Twitter complaining about a 3-star review, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to do that. Well, the indie spaces, I mean, the indie authors and the readers on Twitter just absolutely dogpiled this poor woman. She took her book off the internet, and I kind of was the only person that jumped up and defended this woman because, look, here's the thing. When you come into the indie author spaces, nobody hands you a brochure that says, here's the rules of what you are and are not supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
She had no idea that it was such discussing a review had such a negative connotation in the author spaces. And that's what I said. I like this space is so full of invisible walls you're not supposed to cross, and they crucify you when you do, but nobody comes up to you and tells you what you are and are not supposed to do. And I kind of feel like addressing your reviews is borderline one of those things. You're not supposed to talk about your reviews. You're not supposed to attack your negative reviewers. But here's the thing. When I launched my book, The Black Crown, 2 days after it launched, somebody left an ugly 1-star review on Goodreads. And I called them out for it. I said, there's no way you read this book in 2 days. Mm-hmm. Don't believe it. I don't buy it. I actually thought they were someone else. It was a troll of mine from Twitter. And there was a little back and forth. And to me, it's like that's an egregious example of this is obviously a troll reviewer. And Lord knows we found out since that Goodreads is loaded with them. There was that indie author that got caught downvoting other indie authors in her same category because it was an attempt to try and push their book up the ratings, so to speak. Yes, Erudite, this is on YouTube. And that's a frustration that I've had with the indie author spaces is there are rules, but no one tells you what the rules are. And I'm starting to come to a place where I think a lot of the rules are really just made up, and you really shouldn't be listening to people. So there was a fight a couple weeks ago. Like, tropes are bad now. Like, is anything allowed here? Or,
tropes are good. I love tropes.
Before we move too far, I want to jump on something that you address, which is troll reviews, right? Because so many, I've actually looked at some of these hypercritical reviews of me out there, and 90% of it is utter misrepresentation of the book, flat out lies, like to a really despicable level. And people who don't know anything about you or your book or this reviewer, if they have an axe to grind or their political leanings, everything, they just gobble it up, take everything they say as gospel. And this came out recently where some idiot tried to do a hit piece against me, right? And then quoted some of these negative reviews, trying to paint a negative picture that most people were hating the book when he didn't show the split in the star ratings. Like, he didn't show this thing right here, right? Where 69% of reviews are all 5-star and then 21% are 4 stars. So that's a solid 90% positive rating, right? Hugely positive. And he completely hid that and only showed 1-star reviews and quoted them. And in the quotation, just flat out lies. And I did a reply, which I rarely do, right? Because he was trying to attack Shadiversity just broadly and then for some reason focused on my book. And I literally called it out like, this is a direct misquote from my book, where they tried to say I wrote something that was garbage writing. And it wasn't even what I had written. It was a direct misquote and misrepresentation. And I show the actual line of what was in the book, which of course made complete sense, what is actually written there. And so what are you supposed to do when people are just lying about you to try and attack you and discredit your book and your work? Like, what are you as an author supposed to do in that situation?
I had negative reviews that said I didn't have an editor, which is a lie. I had 2 editors. I had people that accused me of using AI to write my book, which I do not use AI to write my book. And the thing is, Amazon could not care less. I've tried a couple of times to kind of bring it to their attention and say, and really kind of do something about it, because I feel like if it's an egregious lie, because Lord knows I've got plenty of those. The Orc City and a couple of banger tweets, people disagreeing with me on Twitter, they instantly go to Goodreads to review bomb my book. And so you can look at them and tell that's exactly what they were there for. Just like I could go to your negative reviews on BookTube and tell which ones were coming from a genuine place and which ones were kind of coming from they did not like Shad and they did not want to read his book but forced themselves to read his book anyway. Like that was pretty obvious. You can call my book whatever you want, but don't lie about it. Well, you don't like my book? You don't like my book? I'm fine with that, okay? It's perfectly fine. You think it's unoriginal, whatever. But I didn't use AI to write my book. I did have an editor. And if it doesn't strike you that way, it's not going to strike you that way. But, if you obviously didn't read it and left a negative review and it's easy to tell you didn't read it, I think there should be some kind of recourse for authors in that particular case.
Right.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I think authors actually have perfect grounds to call out people lying about your work. And for some reason, there seems to be this weird, authors aren't supposed to do that. And what are they supposed to do then if people are literally misrepresenting and saying bullcrap about it? And the closest I think I've done, right, is calling out one of these reviewers on Twitter, right, where again he made a bullcrap dogcrap review of my book, right? Most successful video on his channel by far, because it's attacking someone who's prominent and people love to hate, and so all the haters of course come in because it gives them a reason to justify their dislike of me, right? And because it was the most successful video he's ever done, he was thinking about, I need to do a deep dive on this. And so he tagged me in this tweet saying, think about doing a long form pre-scripted video about the issues of Shadow of the Conqueror by Shad Brooks and how they could have been fixed. And so he says, worried it might get dry and technical. But anyway, so he tagged me and I asked, why are you tagging me in this? Well, if you want my attention so much, here it is. Because I had actually watched his review. Your review was one of the few I've watched that were made to try and dunk on it for clout. It was close to the worst review I've ever watched, with so many astoundingly false statements about the book. It was as if you didn't even read it. It was so bad you're either astoundingly incompetent or actively malicious in your intent. So you've already reviewed my book and lied in some of the most blatant and pathetic ways, seemingly for clout, but now want to go on a deep dive. How about you reread it to actually get something correct this time? And I actually go through all the stuff he got, and look how long this tweet is. These are all objective things that he completely misrepresented about my book. Like he said, he claims, I believe it, anyone can be redeemed according to Christianity, which is he was trying to, because Shad believes this is Christian, he forces this book, and it's that's objectively false. There are literally unforgivable sins in Christianity. You say Dalen wanted to be a good guy sky pirate, literally false. He wanted to hunt sky pirates, not become a sky pirate, right? And so you say Arik is wanting to be a warrior monk. False. Arik was a warrior in the past, but is trying to live a life of pacifism. And both you gentlemen have read the book, right? And so you know what I'm saying is correct in my rebuttals and calling out this guy for not understanding some of the most basic things about the characters, right?
He's like a I forgot what he is. He's like a monk that's trying to just do the right thing and travel around. He's not a warrior anymore.
Exactly.
He can still fight and everything, but he's just trying to be like this guy who's trying to live a life of poverty and humility. That's kind of what he is at the beginning.
Exactly. And he continues, he claimed everyone in the book acknowledged there's only one possible deity. And that's no, there's multiple religions. Lyra gets kind of confused when Cusack talks about how, Lyra doesn't even think the name of their deity is God, and Cusack calls him God, and she's like, "Why? Well, that's a weird name for a god." Right? But again, he claims that there's only one religion. He said, "God forbid we actually use something more accurate to theology," when Cusack literally calls the deity, by the term God. He claims Arik is completely unrelated to Arik has completely unrelated magic to Dalen's, when all the magics, the three actually form a connected kind of dichotomy, where one bonds the magic, one creates light, one channels light, and one destroys light. He called Dalen an incestuous sodomizer, yet Dalen never engages in incest or sodomy at all. He said Dalen...
It's a weird thing to say, because Dalen does a lot of horrible things, but incest is not one of them.
Yes, and sodomy is one
of the one crime he didn't do.
The two crimes he didn't do, right? Incest and sodomy. Did this guy even read the book, right? He says Dalen is cracking jokes.
Why even say this? Like, he could have said so many things that Dalen actually did in the book, and he says I had to go with something he didn't do. I've read the book at least twice. I think I might have read it a third time, but I've read it at least twice. And I don't think he does. He doesn't do incest. He probably did sodomy. I don't know, by this he could have done probably. I mean, probably did, but incest is something I know he didn't do.
Exactly. And it goes on there are so many just blatant inaccuracies. He says Dalen is better at and he says literally everything. Dalen is better at everyone else at literally everything. And it's Dalen gets his ass kicked multiple times, and there are many, and he has some of the worst people skills and self-awareness out of anyone in the book, right? But that's completely lost on him. And
another thing that I think a lot of reviewers I don't think a lot of them saw what you were doing when it came to Dalen. Yes, Dalen is a dick. Dalen is a colossal, massive, walking phallus. And he's only recently come to the decision, at the start of the book, after a lifetime of being this horrible dude, that I can do better now. Now, who was there to, all he's got is Eric to kind of help guide him in that, but a lifetime of behavior does not change necessarily overnight. And I saw that through the book. He was perpetually torn between wanting to do better and being better. And Eric occasionally have to give him a little smack on the back of the head and say, hey, you're acting really out of sorts. And him, coming to be a little more self-aware that, yes, he is not as good as he's not the villain that he used to be, and he's trying to be better. But old habits die hard, and that includes behavior. Guys, I haven't worked in construction in over 13 years, but I still curse like a sailor at times, and it's a habit I've tried very hard to break. So I imagine for Dalen not being the worst person to walk into the room is probably a little hard for him. But you did put in the book, the steps he was taking to try to mitigate that. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, at the end of the book, do we want to address any spoilers? Because I wouldn't mind discussing the end of the book.
Well, maybe we could do a spoiler warning and do that at the end, but we'll probably run out of time. But that's something I'd love to. Maybe us three could actually do that on a dedicated stream or something. There's two. Look, there's heaps. Look at how many bullcrap things, but there's two big ones, right? Which is actually about the larger context of the book. And this one was wild. He said that Lyra forgives Dalen several times throughout his review, and his criticism is how could someone who has this much, trauma and conflict with this character, it's so it's one of the worst that this character would forgive. Lyra doesn't forgive Dalen at all.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember her forgiving him ever.
It's explicit that she doesn't forgive him. At the end, she says, I couldn't believe that. I was like, what? How can you even
Dalen doesn't even ask for forgiveness. He acknowledges from almost the start of the story that he deserves death. That's why he threw himself off the side of the continent,
Exactly.
Now he's got his second chance. It's interesting. And I'm going to give you this all the credit in the world, Shad. The world of sorry, I forgot. Everfall is really interesting and unique. And I don't think you get enough credit for creating this world of floating continents that go through walk me through how this works. That basically the continents go through a barrier, and because I kind of got Portal vibes, right? When he mentioned you can look off the edge of the continent and look down. If you had a telescope, you could see yourself standing there. And I'm like, that's cool. Never seen that in another fantasy book before.
Right. It is pretty cool. I do like that. It was pretty interesting. It's like, okay, if I fall far enough, I'll just loop around and I might hit the continent.
So how it works, the actual universe is incredibly flat, right? It's a very flat, thin universe. That what happens is, and when you jump off this universe and reach the bottom of the universe, you re-enter it from the top. It's vertically looped in that sense, which is a theory that we have about our universe. Like if you reach the edge of our universe, the theory is that you might just re-enter our universe from the other side, that it actually has this kind of spatial connection on it. I was like, that's a really interesting concept. So if you flattened it, you would just keep falling. And yeah, that's the concept behind Everfall. And I'm glad you guys it's really fun to work with those mechanics. And that's one of the things people have enjoyed about the book. And this last one, I couldn't believe that he this just proves it is never read that. He said that Cusack is naked all the time and flipping out his dong in front of Lyra constantly. And it's like, there is not a single scene in the book where Cusack is actually naked, right? It is referred to.
He's supposed to be naked, but he's not.
He's not.
He really wants to, yeah.
It's like he's not naked in a single scene in the entire book, yet he says he is naked all the time and flipping out his dong in front of Lyra. And it's like, what this? And it's just.
Did you do a helicopter at least?
right it's just constant. And so at the end I said, overall your review was embarrassing, and you constantly take your subjective taste on many things as objective standards to slag on the book and prop yourself up as a talented writer. If your ability to judge storytelling and remember even the most clear and blatant details of a book is any reflection on your writing ability, holy crap, dude, get a new hobby. And this isn't the only case of bullcrap reviews that it's like they haven't even read it, and they just create criticisms for clout, to attack me for clout. So at the end of this kind of, discussion point, John, I appreciate your review. Thank you for being fair. And it's not to say, John, he doesn't give it a glowing review. There are things that he thinks could be improved, absolutely, but he's fair and honest, and that's what I'm grateful for.
The thing is, when it came down to the things that I could critique, a lot of them fall into this category that I absolutely do not put in any review that I do, which is, and other people did this too, mind you, which is, I wouldn't have written it this way. That is not helpful in a review to me at all, because obviously I didn't write the book, and I'm not going to write the book or fan fiction of it. So it doesn't do me any good. Subscribe to my Substack, guys, if you can. Really appreciate it. This
is John's Substack here. He drops reviews of books, and I'm assuming much more as well on top of that. Right, and so
like I could say, I do feel the sexual innuendo that went between Lyra and Cusack wore out its welcome before they dropped. That's just a me thing. But again, it falls into
perfectly fair
like that.
Perfectly fair to say.
I do like your joke about bread, the sticky bread part. You know why they call it sticky bread? I do like the dad joke sense of humor.
Yeah. Eric's dad jokes, being such groaners, gave him a lot of personality. And the fact that he delighted in how much it annoyed Dalen only made it even better.
Well, no, because it's made of bread, obviously.
Because Dalen.
What were you thinking?
Dalen says, like, you're not going to say because it's sticky, and Eric says, no, because it's made of bread.
Moron.
All right, gentlemen, let's dive into the main topic of today. Oh my gosh. So there's a bit of background to this subject. By the way, how are you, Mike? Good to have you.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, I have the microphones all over. Yeah, my radiator hose decided to spring a leak on me as I was going to my grandson's bris. So that was fun.
Yeah, but you managed to make
these hoses are cheap.
I made it there, red line, like over the red line temperature, and then I filled it up with water, and I found the hose, and I tried to patch it up just enough to get me home, and so I barely made it home.
Hey, John, look! You're at the bottom of this.
Oh, that one's. I'm still getting stuff on that one. I'm so proud of that one.
Man, Trump stopped another war. Damn.
This is what started it, right? This is hilarious, right? And it all leads to Angry Joe spurging out, which is it is
another day ending in Y.
I know we've got lore to go into when it comes to mildly perturbed Joe. because he's attacked me and the channel in the past, and he's just not good at his job. He's not a good reviewer, okay? But he picks fights with so many people, right? And actually alienates a lot of his audience, and he can't help himself. And then one of the most frustrating and bullcrap things he does, he thinks everyone who disagrees with him on politics and stuff like that are idiots. And he literally says low IQ, right? When he is not a bright fella. When you break down some of the logical foundations of what, especially his reviews, holy crap, it's he's calling people low IQ, dude.
I got this. You want to check it out, Chad? This little tweet here. I said, deport him. ICE. Get him. Get him ICE.
Oh man, they've been absolutely dogging him in the comments.
We will be getting there. We will be getting there. But it starts with GameStop. And look, I think this is great, smart, clever marketing. But guess what? There's even something a little bit before this. But GameStop acknowledges this. Halo was the big news in the gaming sphere, is coming to PlayStation. Halo, the flagship title of the
that's
Xbox.
Sacrilege.
Right? Yes. And
hold on. You know what the unintentional, what this is going to end up leading to? I was
actually will be riots.
No. What this basically means, if they're going multi-platform with this, is this all but assures Master Chief is in the next Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
100%.
I want to see a Solid Snake versus Master Chief. That'd be pretty awesome. Here's what we need. I want the scenario where we can have Master Chief, Solid Snake, and Doom Guy all fighting each other. That'd be pretty awesome.
Cool. That would be cool. I'm up there with I feel like it's give the Waluigi fans a win, okay? They've been begging so hard for Waluigi. It's time. Give our boy a little slot there.
Well, GameStop says that they declare the console wars over in regards to this seismic moment in history where Halo is now on PlayStation. They say, whereas for the past 2 decades, the global gaming community has been engaged in an ongoing and increasingly petty conflict known as the console wars. I would not call it petty, all right? People have invested many blood, sweat, and tears in this conflict, and the answer has always been PC Master Race.
PC Master Race.
Yes.
That's I turned my nose up and looked down with amusement at the console wars because I am a proud member of the PC Master Race.
Exactly right. It's like, you peasants fighting over consoles. You can go over there and have your war where I will.
Oh, look at your adorable little conflict there.
Exactly. Where I will, remain on my Chad PC and enjoy everything.
Hey, PC guys, watch this. I put the game in the console and it starts right up.
I double click on my game, starts right up. Boom, boom, baby.
I can mod my games and have incredible freedom in turning into what I want.
Incredible breasts. I mean, tracts of land.
That's disgusting. Where?
Assets. Whereas said conflict originated in the early 2000s with the release of Halo Combat Evolved as an Xbox exclusive title, whereas Halo Campaign Evolved is officially coming to PlayStation in 2026 with cross-platform play. Therefore, GameStop, acting under its authority as a neutral entity and the world's retail, gaming, and trade-in destination, hereby declares the official cessation of the console wars. All claims to exclusivity are hereby dissolved. Console loyalists are instructed to cease hostilities, disband militias, and enjoy this new era of gaming. GameStop will continue to operate as the demilitarized zone, offering hardware, accessories, and trade-ins to combatants on all sides. Power to the players. Well said, honestly. Like GameStop, glorious idea for marketing, but something else happened, gentlemen. Something glorious happened. Someone retweeted this post. The White House.
It was the White House.
White
Trump wins
House
again. Chalk it up.
Retweeted with Trump halo saying power to the players.
Another war
Glorious.
ended by
Oh,
Trump. Another war. The peace president.
That's his 9th war, I think. He's ended.
Right.
Is he going to end the Cola Wars next?
I hope he does more of this. I hope he continues making more video game memes. That would be pretty awesome.
Did you
The only
see
thing
one
better
that-
would be if
that-
he started doing D&D memes too.
Did you see the one that Homeland Security sent?
We will get there. Yes, that's one.
Oh,
of
you
the
know what would be
ones I
funny
like.
is
That's-
if he ended the war on poverty.
But the funny thing about Trump ending all these wars, right? The left are more upset that it's Trump that ended them than the fact that the war is over. They're like, it's almost like they would have preferred the wars continued than Trump being the one to end them. That's
Look,
how
I'm pretty sure they would literally vote for Hitler if Hitler ran against Trump.
over Trump.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would vote for Hitler over Trump.
No,
Yeah.
I have an anecdote.
Hitler was a socialist. They said.
I wore my Trump was right shirt to the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, and this fellow that he was the guy that kicked me out of the store during COVID because I wouldn't wear a mask, but he forgets that. But he's like, what was Trump right about? I'm like, you're not a fan of peace in the Middle East, and he starts going on. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna build hotels there and make a bunch of money. I'm like,
oh no!
So you're not a fan of peace in the Middle East?
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh my gosh!
So bitter. He was right about everything. Like what was he right about? Well, peace in the Middle East. Oh yeah. Well, he's going to do this. Therefore,
yeah. It's not going to last. Therefore, it's not worth trying, right?
Yeah. This has triggered so many people, but there's been more memes, right, that have come from official sources, right, from the American government, which is triggering a lot of people, including Angry Joe. We'll get there. But there's a couple of important things to actually acknowledge about this. People might think this is a meme. This is important because it signals a very needed shift on the conservative right. Right? For too long, conservatives have looked down and not taken pop culture seriously and thought it's just kiddie stuff. Don't get involved. We're above all that, right? Trump kind of embracing pop culture here is very good. And
he's really good at it too. Very good at it.
Now, I think somebody criticized that this was just as cringy as Pokemon Go to the polls, but it's not. It's really not the same level of cringe.
Not even close. Yes.
Yeah. Plus, Trump is a troll.
He's a showman.
Yeah. Yes, and this is triggering them all, which means it's perfect. Like if you have a troll post that triggers your political enemies, you've succeeded, right?
And he got him with this one.
What did Pokemon Go to the polls trigger? Who did that upset?
It was just cringe.
In mockery for its cringe, right?
It was just cringe
for cringe's sake.
But this is setting them off. And again, right, the reason why this is important is that this is, the conservative right, MAGA Trump and everything like showing that and taking pop culture seriously, that there has a cultural input and laughing with it, using it. And use it. And that's how you're going to win more people to the conservative side, right?
And when Trump does it, it's like a comedian telling a joke. When when any of the other politicians do it, it's like your aunt or uncle telling a joke. It's just not cool. It's just not
exactly.
Cool.
Instead of belittling, pop culture, video games, and all that stuff as like kiddie things that you should grow up and get past, which will alienate people who are fans of pop culture and video games, right? All right. Embracing and saying, and then using it for your memes and stuff. That's going to bring in people from those, interests and spheres. And to the point where I've seen even some people online saying, the people who are complaining about that you should get politics out of gaming are all, cheering this. And it's like, mate, you're not understanding the scales. People who are complaining about politics and gaming, the thing we're complaining about is when it's forced into a game to, push a very divisive political message, right?
And that's not the same thing as this. This is just referencing a game.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is celebrating
related to gaming news. This is not the government coming up to 343 Studios and saying, "Hey, we want you to put a Trump skin in the next Halo game." It's entirely different things.
Entirely different.
Fans. The thing is, the difference is the fans will make the Trump skin.
Oh, yes, they will.
The company does not have to.
That is so glorious. And so, like I said, there's some important things that, to process a little bit about Trump getting on board with it. And then GameStop, the epic chads, right? The legends, in response to Trump or the White House doing this, instead of like being woke or stupid and everything. So the White House posted this. GameStop posted this image in response.
God, the Vance memes are great. They're single-handedly going to get this guy reelected.
This is great. This is so good.
They tried so hard to make fun of Vance, and everyone just ran with it.
I know, that's the hilarious thing. They think like this, meme of Vance is like upsets the right and upset. We love it and we use it, right? And we run with it.
It's certainly creepy, like a creepypasta. It's like a cryptid or something.
GameStop, you legends.
Jenny Vance is my sleep paralysis demon.
This is very clever marketing from GameStop. It's brought them back into attention. People are talking about them now. So they've run with it, right? And I don't necessarily see this as GameStop endorsing a political party. They see that the White House has kind of, quote tweeted them and power to the players, right? And they're like, well, we can use that. And so, they post a meme picture in response. And they even use like a picture of Vance that the left used to criticize. And so shouldn't that make them happy? Because they would think that this is criticizing Vance using the thing that they always try and use to mock him. But it doesn't work because we all love it and just laugh at it. And so, well played, GameStop, but it didn't end there. Then, okay, the DHS posted. Let me go to their thing. DHS. It should be, because I want to find the exact one, because people just like take a picture of it. I want to get to the original. Where is it? Here it is. Department of Homeland Security posted this. This is what's really upsetting so many people.
Destroy the flood.
Destroy the flood. Join ICE.
What flood are you referring to?
Yeah, what flood? That's an interesting way to put it.
The aliens. That's right. The aliens. Uh-huh.
That's why it works on many levels. This works on many levels. And it's the Department of Homeland Security. Again, like embracing pop culture, conservatives. Yes, this is what us like nerds on the conservative side have been saying for years. Embrace it. Do not belittle it. Think it's childish stuff. You're shooting yourself in the foot when you do that. But if you embrace
Matt
and
Walsh.
use it,
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I've made dedicated videos responding to Matt Walsh for belittling pop culture, right? Because it's shooting yourself in the foot. But if you embrace it, you can look at the traction this is getting. This is up to 8.6 million views, and it is triggering so many people. One in particular,
As the boomers eventually kind of die off out of government, it's going to be so interesting to watch Gen X and millennials raised on such a high level of pop culture get into our government spaces. And you're kind of seeing a little bit of what's coming out of that. Now, I know they've got an intern that's probably grew up on Halo that was retweeting those things, but whatever he's getting paid, he needs to get paid more.
Well, as I was saying, that meme triggered a lot of people, and Mr. Mildly Perturbed Joe, or we could call him, as the chat has mentioned, TDS Joe, right? But he says...
Angered Alejandro.
You got mad at this one.
Perturbed Pedro. Yeah. Come on. Am I the only one that's seen Razor Fist takedown video of Angry Joe?
Oh yeah, that was good. That was a good one. That was really funny. He kept rolling.
I recommend Razor Fist's takedown of Angry Joe, as well as Night's Watch takedown of Angry Joe. Angry Joe attacks us and proves he's a hypocrite. And
I got your page cut going on. You got a page there.
Yeah,
the nightly locks.
Yeah, I know. That's when I was growing out my hair, and Angry Joe replied in the dumbest way possible.
Whoa!
Right?
Jeez,
Leftist
Louise,
wall of
you wrote a book?
text.
It was
War and
so
Peace down there.
His reply was so stupid. I gave it the pin of shame, and it got so many replies that it got to the point where it overloaded and people couldn't reply anymore. Right?
It's a good idea,
And
actually.
the reason why this was worthy of the pin of shame is because every single thing he says in this comment is addressed in the video. He didn't watch the video, all right? And he's just an idiot. And look, the comments are saying, like, Joe, I've been a fan of you for decades. But this really is an L take. As a subscriber of both Shad and Joe, Joe makes me want to go see this, so I know I'm not on the fence. And all the comments are just like, Joe, this is really a bad look. And then you'll find the comments saying, Joe, everything you're talking about is addressed in the video. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. And so if people want the background of what this was, right? Angry Joe got triggered by the fact that I criticized the Barbie movie for the piece of crap that it is. Okay. He did not like that. And he got upset that I was angry with the Barbie movie. Angry Joe was annoyed that I was angry with something that he liked. The moron.
You think he'd be okay with that?
And so in his Barbie review, he actually mentions the channel and brings up my thumbnail, right? And then, tries to say it's really pathetic that you would get upset over the Barbie movie.
Said Angry Joe.
Said Angry Joe. So,
how could you get angry at this? Said Angry Joe.
Exactly. So we, of course, replied to him for his stupidity. His comment was so dumb. We made another video breaking down his comments.
Which is weird because my last video actually went over the Barbie movie. My latest one.
And so we made a video replying to his comment, and then he can't help it. He just can't help it. Right? And I gave him the pin of shame again. And everyone can see it. It's like, dude, this is a really bad look. Don't. And this one, he literally proved everything you said in this comment wrong in the video. And you admitted you didn't watch. Take a break, man. You've clearly terminally online with this.
Like, really ever do.
Right? And by the way,
if they do rush the video, they could have just become willfully ignorant of it. Like,
yes.
They watched it, but they didn't watch it.
Exactly, because the points that we say in rebuttal are completely valid, logical, and substantiated. We share the receipts and proof. And so if he actually watched it, he would have to admit that he was wrong, but he can't do that because he's, an overly sensitive, they
always double down.
A bit of a narcissist. Yeah. And he just doubles down because he's not aware. And again, this was in response to Joe attacking me. Like, I didn't think highly of his reviews, but I never bothered. I never said anything. I was like, I didn't want beef or anything like that. And then in his review, he decides for no reason at all just to attack me because he's a pathetic idiot who can't stand it when people don't like what he likes, right? And then he picks the fights. He gets slapped down, and then he just whines about it. And so that's kind of the background between me and Joe. And again, what he's doing here is just picking fights for no reason at all. Like, if he wants to remain a pop culture critic, right, and avoid politics, this type of stuff is some of the most retarded stuff that you do. Now, I went into looking at pop culture with the purpose of calling out the political bullcrap the woke were forcing into it, okay? But Joe, he tries to appease his audience, ride the fence and everything like that, and he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to do it at all because he went so soft on She-Hulk, and he actually liked She-Hulk in the first episodes, and everyone called him out for it, saying, are you retarded? She-Hulk is dog crap, right? And then he tried to change his review to appease the people, and it's like, mate, if you're gonna have a stick by it, right? But anyway,
he's really bad at reviewing anything about video games, like anything besides video games. He kind of has a very, very flippant and very lenient view of.
Oh, he doesn't. He does not know what good writing is on an objective scale at all. He reviews things basically on his own subjective taste, if he kind of liked it or not, right? And then when he tries to substantiate it logically, he falls flat because he doesn't know what good writing is. But anyway, he is deranged and he picks fights with people and he is total Trump derangement syndrome. And he gets triggered by the government doing these meme posts. And he says, F ICE and F Donald Trump. Get the F out of here with using Halo for your crappy dehumanizing police state propaganda. It's like,
I think everyone seems to be triggered with the fact that enforcing the law is not a pleasant business. It's like this. They have videos of police officers enforcing the law and like, oh, that's not very nice. Well, yeah, it's not very nice. Going to war is not very nice. Enforcing the law is not very nice, but it has to be done.
The next line is when Joe just really exposed himself as the political hack he is, right? Where he's not actually interested in trying to talk to people or anything like that. He says this: no one thinks your crap is cool besides low IQ her MAGA cult members on X. Right? That's what he thinks. No, genuinely, that's what he thinks about everyone who politically disagrees with him. He just thinks they're low IQ idiots, right? He looks down on all of us, okay? And it's like, okay, you think we're just retards, right? Screw you. And yeah, his content has been crap for a while, and so I've never had an interest in him. But also, even if his content was good, know that this is what he thinks about most, the majority of people in America and anyone who leans conservative, right? And so don't support people who hate you. It's as simple as that. And he clearly hates us. And he thinks we're idiots on top of it, right? And that is where it gets into the really disingenuous stuff, because he can't engage with people with, the arguments or logic. He's like, oh, you're just low IQ, her MAGA cult members. That's his take, right? And then he says, half of which are bots. You're going to find out soon in the next election. Really, Joe?
Yeah, they found out in the last election, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think someone else found out. Yeah.
You seen that No Queen's Day meme? And it's like just the map of all the counties that voted for Trump. We already had our No Queen's Day. It was on November 5th.
And also, was it popular vote? You got the popular vote?
Yeah. The first time since like Reagan.
They've been coping over that since the election that he got the popular vote.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of leftists spurg out and acting as if the last election went. They're acting as if the last election went our way just barely, and it really didn't. It was kind of over that threshold to where it's like, okay, the majority of the people really are kind of not going in the way that Biden and the Democrats want, and now they're kind of so broken because they didn't learn anything from it. Right? They've learned nothing. They are taking the wrong lessons or not taking lessons at all, and they're ultimately just kind of spiraling because they didn't Democrat hard enough. They didn't call us Nazis hard enough. Right. They didn't call us. Maybe if they do it 100,000 more times between now and the next election, maybe that'll work. And when it doesn't, what's the cope then?
My favorite part about all this, time to stop being nice. Like, when were you ever nice?
Yeah.
Nice?
Yeah. You've been treating us like garbage for years. Yeah, you're not nice. You're never nice.
You're pretending they've been polite and nice this entire time. They never were.
Your side just shot Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
You are not the nice side.
And so I'm pretty sure
the nicest guy they shot.
Oh, yeah. And also that Trump won the 60 Minutes case. The one where he sued them for like trying to like piece together. I think he sued them for trying to piece together the 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris, trying to make her look good. I think that was the case, and he won it. Really? I think he almost won $100 million from these cases against the media that he's been going after.
Yeah. They have to lie, right? They can't engage on an honest foot. And Joe is just an example of this, where instead of trying to engage, understand, or even respect the other side, right? And by the way, I don't respect people trying to, vilify me and to get me killed, right? That's where respect stops. But there are people on the left that I respect and can have a conversation with and have a relationship and friendship with. Shocking that, right? And I don't think they're idiots, even though we politically disagree on very strong grounds. But that's
because they live in an echo chamber, Shad.
Well, a lot too.
You know, and it's not an echo chamber of their own making either, because the mainstream media and Democrats, they run almost all of the media. That if you're going to stumble across media, you're going to stumble across their propaganda, right? And it's like you'll never hear any kind of facts that run against that propaganda unless you're actively going out to see it, to find it, right? So it's like, it's not really even their fault. My brother is in the same situation. He lives in Portland, surrounded by left-wing people. So it's like all the news he gets is always just blah, blah, all this. Oh, Trump's sending in the National Guard. It's anti blah, blah. And I'm like, it's funny. Just
to enforce the law.
Yeah, right. And here's the thing I made to him out. Do you remember Dukes of Hazzard?
I remember Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah,
you guys remember Dukes of Hazzard, right? Remember Boss Hogg and Roscoe Pico Train? Do you think they were good cops and leaders of their? They were always doing dirty freaking crap. This is the situation we're dealing with when we have to send in the National Guard to states where their dirty freaking cops and their dirty freaking governors aren't protecting the people.
Yeah. Now the replies to
John
this.
Schneider. He lives down here in my neck of the woods. Very nice man.
Nice.
The replies to Joe's tweet are hilarious. As like, tell me you know nothing about Halo without telling me, Joe. This is from Endebion, and looking at Master Chief symbolism. All right, a Christian symbology in it. Jerry just posted.
That's the most accurate, I think.
If you go down a little more, someone animated that, and it's great.
It's glorious.
I think it's legitimately canonically what Master Chief looks like underneath the helmet.
Yes. Yep.
It's canon now.
Oh, it's good. So, and then this must be a very hard time for you. So, deal with it. Like, people are just trolling.
This face.
Yep. Like,
there he is.
So Joe, once upon a time, did make good video game reviews, but he's fallen off hard, and he's got TDS, and he can't let it go, and he's picking fights that didn't need to be picked, right? It's pretty darn sad. And as well, he got triggered that Jeremy, good old Geeksy Gamer Jeremy, posted. So because he can't let it go, Joe posts this. Let me find this one. I'm gonna my bookmarks again. The sheer just TDS of this all. Here it is. So he says, still waiting for those Epstein files you were so pissed off at and worked up about earlier a few weeks ago, right, Jeremy? Or have they convinced you to forget about him? So, and he posts this like a picture. I'm waiting for Trump to tell me what to believe. So that's again what he thinks about anyone who likes Trump or supports him, right? He thinks they're retards that don't think for themselves. And so that and he quote tweets, right, but doesn't tag Jeremy. But of course, Jeremy sees it, and so Jeremy responds with, since you're so focused on this, can't wait to hear you report back after you've read the 33,000 pages that was released last month. Thanks, Joe. Look at that. So Joe's completely just disconnected from this. And then Jeremy, I like what he said here. Also, the fact that Joe had to quote tweet me instead of just reply directly shows how insecure he is over this whole situation. He needs as much support as possible. Please, everyone, tell Joe how great he is. He definitely needs it right now. Good on you, Jeremy.
Complete own. He's like Glass Joe at this point.
Yeah. It's sad, right? And he doesn't have the intellectual fortitude to actually engage in these things. He won't have a debate with anyone on this, and it would be hilarious if he was early to. He just screams and spurgs out, points the finger, calls people idiots, and then runs away and doesn't actually address stuff. And you wonder why he's falling off. Well, he has fallen off a while ago.
So I was about to say, in the gaming spaces, Joe he's still around, and he's still got a really high subscriber count, but his relevancy has really waned in the last few years. I mean, I stopped following him a while ago, because after 2016, he got broke. his brain was broken. And when Razorfist took him down,
Razor's like, one was great. Yeah,
his one against Movie Bob was just as good. But Movie Bob, someone mentioned Sterling earlier, and that's kind of correct. Like they used to be bigger voices in the spaces, but as we've had more people with much more prominent and honestly better takes, I think, have come up in the gaming spaces. Kind of just forget Joe's there until whenever I only remember him when he spurgs out like this. He doesn't ever have a really good take. All his takes are safe, right?
Mm-hmm. He tries to be safe.
Yeah, he tries to play it middle of the road, not upset anyone. He doesn't want to talk about the politics that goes on in the gaming world, or if he does, he is generally kind of poo-poos a lot of people's complaints about what's going on. And you've seen like Hypnotic and Smash JT and Endymion, like they've kind of rose up. Like every time they're posting something about gaming, Cabrutus and Grums, every time they all post something, like I see that a lot. Joe just is banal and really boils down to until he has an opinion and he gets off the fence.
Well, until something triggers him, and he can't help himself. And maybe if he actually had intelligent takes, saying political things wouldn't have damaged him as much. But hasn't helped him out in any way because his takes are pretty stupid. Every time I've seen him try and engage on political things or even like cultural things, because it's hard to avoid cultural things because of the woke infestation in pop culture. And so he always tries to either, toe the line with woke. But the thing is, though, most of the people who enjoy video games are pretty based, especially from Gamergate and stuff like that. What was Joe's opinion on Anita Sarkeesian? Didn't he like defend her back in the day?
It's just something like she's not taking your video games, guys. He's like, stop bashing her and everything. Yeah. Completely this like a valiant white knight coming to her aid.
He's always played cover to the woke ideologues, right? But at the same time, he knows that it pisses off most of his audience because he was going against gamers when he did that. And so then he tries. He tries, then he's in this rock and hard place where he's trying to appease the woke mob while also not piss off his audience, and he flounders so much.
Yeah, because he's cut his audience in half by defending Anita Sarkeesian, because that was a huge topic.
Yeah,
trying to ruin games. It
was massive.
Lies and misconceptions and obfuscations and everything. Speaking of culture. The chat has paid me to start watching Ruby. I managed to make it to volume 7, and that was the most politically overt, I guess, because they have a clear like Trump versus Hillary Clinton like comparison there, where like the bad guy is like the corrupt dad of one of the main characters, and the good guy is named Robin Hill instead of Hillary Clinton. And so the bad guy, evil father, wins. And he's like the whitest man ever. The white hair, white suit, his winter aesthetic. And he wins because the bad guys cook the votes and give him all the votes. And he gets arrested the same night as the election night, the one he wins. So that's like the little fantasy. Like, oh, Trump won because he cheated. And then now he's going to jail. Yeah, he's getting arrested. So it was really cringe. And they also had this whole ordeal that they built up over the past couple of seasons with this guy Ironwood, who's like a general and trying to fight like the most evil person ever, which is like the one pulling the strings behind the scenes and everything. This is kind of it's like Soros Putin put together, which is Salem, and so he's trying to fight her, but secretly can't really reveal Salem to the world because she's like a big conspiracy. Like no one will believe him or it would cause widespread panic. But he has this whole thing going on where he's like pulling in the military and trying to keep order. And he was hoping that Hill would win, but the other guy won instead. And so it's very clear that heavy is the weight of the crown on this character. And so when he's down to, and the bad guys are winning to such an extent that he's down to going, oh man, okay, I have to declare martial law. There's no other way to win now because the bad guy's plan has done so many things to push the course of events against us that I have to declare martial law. And so the heroes are all very uppity and going, you can't do that. That's awful. You're evil and definitely a bad guy now. It's like, come on, guy. It feels so good, essentially, to be uppity and righteous without knowing exactly what you're being uppity and righteous about. It feels so good to say no to martial law and then never ever give adherence to like what this guy's actually going through, what he's facing. Because, by the way, the bad guy's aim is essentially to bring about the end of the world. So he's like, okay, he tried everything he could, and now he's down to one option, which is bring about martial law. Now, martial law is a bad thing, but the heroes should be more unless the heroes should have like instead of chastising him and whacking their finger at him, it should be like, okay, we understand where you're coming from. Let's see if we can find another way besides martial law. But no, they want to get all righteous and go and wag their finger and get all uppity and everything because it's written by people who wanted Hillary Clinton to win, obviously.
Yeah,
they feel good being all righteous and everything,
so that she could implement martial law.
Yes. By the way, Robin Hill in the show is like a terrorist bandit, but that's okay according to them.
I heard it fell off quite heavily. But
Monty Ohm passed away in the middle of making it, and like it really you could kind of tell like that guy's animations and choreography were second to none.
And one big thing they changed was that he wanted the Ruby characters to be sisters, like friends. Then he dies. Boom! They made two lesbians.
Of course,
two of them are lesbians.
No, naturally.
Using lesbian magnets.
So, do you have that? So, are you going to review that on your channel with Dev?
I think maybe eventually after I'm done with the series, I've been EFAPing it on Twitch, 2/3 of the way in on Volume 7, and the whole comparison between like Trump and Hillary Clinton was pretty funny because I could just feel the writer's rage at the whole situation.
But hey, going back to Joe, right? There's a strong chance that he might, get triggered by us memeing on him, and he'll, say leave a comment in the under this video, either on Twitter or on YouTube. And if he does, I'll be interested if he is even bothering to listen to the criticisms because he didn't last time. But we'll see what happens. Hey, we'll see what happens, Joe. Because again, right? If he just wasn't vilifying and attacking people and calling us idiots and stuff like that, I'd be perfectly fine to get along with him. But if he wants to start the beef, people will respond, and he can't help himself, it seems like, right? And there is a sad history about Joe. And again, this is why I think he is so trying to play the fence. I think he's deeply afraid of the ideological left, the woke mob, right? Because they almost destroyed him, right? They attacked him. Joe has had like sexual assault accusations thrown against him in the past.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember that? Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that actually.
Yeah, no, it happened a while ago. Okay. And I think that caused him to be very much, oh, I support women and I'm a feminist and all that kind of stuff. Don't cancel me, please, kind of thing. The thing is, though, during that time when he was getting potentially canceled, a lot of people came out and defended him, like as Hills versus Babyface. A lot of people kind of on our side, right? Paid attention is like, oh, this sexual assault stuff is just nonsense. People are trying to attack him for clout and other things like that, right? Now, instead of actually showing actual appreciation, people defending him, Joe is alienated and criticized and burned the bridges with the people that were defending him, like with Az, okay, because he just can't help himself, it's sad to see, where he's at now, but that's who he is. And he hasn't changed. He's still doing it just by, as shown by this recent tweet, calling everyone who supports MAGA or laughing at a meme, right? Low IQ MAGA idiots. But he's not the only one. Another person got deeply triggered by this. Jack's Films. Do you know who Jack's Films are, you guys?
I don't remember. He sounds familiar, though.
He sounds familiar. I know I've heard of him. I'm not sure I've watched any of his content, but I think he was one of the more like older YouTube reviewers. I think so, but maybe not. But anyway, in response to the White House posting a meme, he says, "Love the AI piss filter. Thank you for making this crap super easy to spot." Is it the filter that's making this easy to spot because it's AI? I thought it was because there was a Trump head on Master Chief that made this an obvious me.
So
AI.
No. See, in their circles, this is an own because they're so anti-AI. They think that everyone is going to hate Trump now for using AI to make a meme.
Despite the fact that Trump announced that he wants the U.S. to be the leaders in, I think, crypto and AI technology.
Yep.
Or something.
And then also, he needs to go deep to figure out this is AI. Everyone, he has to really like dissect.
I'm pretty sure it's a Trump head that kind of gave it away.
Yeah, I know. You can't tell that this is a meme without dissecting this. And so he says, also count the stars. Only 40 are shown. Like he has to go to that level to figure this out. And then he decides to end it off with F Trump and F ICE. You know.
Well, look, we're probably going to cut out a few states pretty soon, right? We're going to cut out at least 10. Got to trim the fat.
So people are saying,
don't threaten me with a good time.
Skits. So this guy, did he do skits in the past? But yeah, it looks like he has TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, as well. He did that Kermit the Frog cartoon. I'm not sure I know that one. But he seems to, again, someone who can't help himself. And people tease he was like, Savvy says, you needed to count the stars, and it was AI. Oh no, this thing can vote. And then Jeremy keeps crying with the Trump AI memes are just great. Again, easy to spot, right? Really? You needed to count the stars. So people are just choking on him.
Well, the reason why Trump works so well in memes is that one, he has a bit of a sense of humor, but he's kind of a meme himself. He was a meme even before, going into this. In a lot of ways, Trump is a bit of a cartoon character. He's just got such a loud personality, and he always has. And it's one of them things where it's easy to transfer over from one to the other. And of course, the right has way more of a sense of humor than the left does. The left these days they are humorless. They have a stick up their ass about everything. They can't laugh at anything. They especially can't laugh about themselves because that might be insulting to someone marginalized. Even that blowhard Bill Maher has called the left out on. He's like, nobody, saying nobody likes people who are dour all the time. And they have no humor, and they're droll to be around. Because everything's offensive. Everything's something to be upset about. And it's like, are you ever happy?
It seems like
I'm happy. I'm content,
Yep.
Yeah.
And this stuff is triggering everyone. Just because they're using, pop culture, in politics, and they're going crazy. And again, it isn't forcing politics into the actual content. It's just using memes, right? But triggering so many people. And I think you were referencing this one where people are trying to say this is as cringeworthy
That's the one I saw,
as Pokemon Go to the polls. And Nux has a good response to this. He says, wrong. For over a decade, any form of conservative values were considered evil by the video game industry. Trump was considered the devil by the vast majority of these progressive studios and wasn't even considered acceptable in the space. This is not another Pokemon Go to the polls. This is accepting conservatism as the dominant culture in society without fear of backlash or cancellation. This is winning. Well said. Well said. And again, I think the other side to this is mainstream conservatism embracing pop culture. Very, very good. That's what we want to see. We want to embrace it and use it to win the culture back. And Grums' notices like the entire US government is now posting Halo and gaming memes. And John Delores, this is what winning looks like. Yes. People love it. Winners. Exactly. Right? Exactly. This is what I voted for. This is the type of stuff we want to see. And another reason why this is working, because it's triggering so many people on the left. They're melting down over it. It's like, no, you're not allowed to, post memes and use them effectively to, get attention and share things like, how dare you?
Because they view themselves as like the gatekeepers and the holders of culture. So when people are thriving outside of that or existing without their permission, they can't stand it because they're somebody that's outside their control. Never doubt that a lot of this has to do with the fact that an issue of control. And when they see that there's something that is working outside of their control, they cannot stand it. And they can't fight it. So they have to try and destroy it.
Yep. And a triggering, when I say heaps of people, look at even the act man himself is like, he's triggered by
this guy.
I can't stand this guy. He's
I don't even know who he is. How do you guys know all these retards?
He's a prominent gaming commenter, right? And a lot of people, myself included, came to his defense when someone tried to cancel. When I say cancel him, the act man made several videos calling out kind of like a bit of a nutcase. He was a smaller YouTuber, but he would, copyright claim a lot of people who would criticize him. And he made a video hating on Elden Ring, this guy, and it was pretty disingenuous. All the reasons why I think Elden Ring was bad. It was either Elden Ring or something else. Actman did a reaction to that guy, making a joke of him saying, your takes are stupid. That guy got crazy triggered, copyright claimed all his content, and was even escalating it to potential legal stuff.
Didn't his channel get demonetized over that? I believe. Because I remember standing up for the...
Yeah, and it almost got taken down as well because he did something dumb in his video response to it. He brought in YouTube. He made a satirical comment about potentially doxing employees at YouTube, and that triggered YouTube and either demonetized or got the channel taken down, even though it was satirical, right? And so a lot of people came to his defense. You can look up probably Actman on Night's Watch here and find the videos of even me defending him. Okay. And so no one had a real issue with him. He was a guest on EFAP a number of times as well. And then the As epic rant happened. You remember the As epic rant against Starfield? You're boring. Okay.
Fucking pronouns.
I loved it. That actually, I think that was more significant than people realize, where Az got attacked relentlessly for it, but what it also did, it kind of showed that it's perfectly fine to call out the transgenderism propaganda being pushed in pop culture. And Az became the largest, most prominent recent voice that called it out. And I think that actually gave a lot of people like us encouragement, saying, no, Az is right, this crap should be called out. Okay, I kind of look at that as a bit of a small but watershed moment, saying that it's time to call out this transgenderism propaganda that's being pushed everywhere. Actman attacked Az really aggressively, relentlessly for that rant. He called him like a ape-looking man.
Silverback, I think.
Well, Silverback, yeah, something like that, because Az embraced it, and he calls himself the Silverback now. But Asman was a complete ass to him, and he exposed himself as basically being a woke, pathetic idiot after all this. And Az defended him. He attacked people, he defended him, right? And then throughout all this process, Actman also revealed, without Mauler's permission, DMs that he had between him and Mauler in a pathetic attempt to try and defend himself, and it didn't exonerate himself at all, because Mauler was kind of caught in the middle. He was friends with Az. Actman had been on EFAP, and so Mauler was kind of talking to Az and Actman, and then Actman shot himself in the foot. And I actually have some strongly worded tweets. I think I responded to him that might give a bit more context, because I can't remember everything.
You remember more than I did. I remember standing up for him when his channel got taken down, but when he started going in the opposite direction, doing a lot of that, I said, next time your channel's in danger, don't look to me to help you out. Yeah,
like it really pissed me off. And so let me quickly do a search to find my tweets. Here we go. So this was some of the lore. So the act ban, post unavailable. Did he either block me or take it down? Oh, he must have deleted it. He deleted, because it was a bad look. I said, this literally explained in the DMs that he made his first tweets attacking Az because at the time he didn't understand what Az was saying, implying that at the time of these DMs he understood more about Az's perspective, but then goes on to still publish his video knowing it misrepresented Az's positions and attacked him. Because he posted a video on Twitter. That's right. Also say these DMs prove that Hillsworth's Babyface did not lie once, and that the Ackman claimed Az was lying. That was the actual lie. I appreciate that Ackman is trying to be civil, but do be honest, right? I pissed off a lot of people, okay? But anyway, he's shown the type of person he is, and par for the course, he gets triggered by this stuff, and he says right here, only deportation I want to see is the guy who runs his account. I was like, yeah, we know the type.
They all side against Americans over illegals. Like against Americans over. Yeah, they want to defend all the illegals because enforcing the law is difficult to watch. It's a harsh business. It really is.
Well, you know how you can solve all this? You could just have Az come in here illegally.
Yeah, just
be the best of friends.
Then they have to defend him, right? Plus, Az will get free college, free healthcare, he'll get a 5-star hotel, he'll get free food, and all kinds of stuff. All you gotta do is come here illegally. In fact, Americans should probably start renouncing their citizenships. They get better treatment.
So triggering so many people, they can't stand it. And I see this as a win and a good thing. And keep doing it. Excuse me.
Shad, speaking of Az, I shared one of my favorite memes from that era on your screen. I will never get rid of this picture.
Az got attacked so hard. Ackman was a very prominent voice that attacked him for it, but he wasn't the only one. So many people on the left attack Az, and Az was 100% right. It has been
he was vindicated. A year later, and the anniversary popped up. How many people were still playing Starfield or even talking about Starfield?
Yep.
Right. It's become, it just came and went, and a lot of the AAA games are really having that problem. Razor Fist was right about that one as well. The funniest thing about him when he was playing Starfield were the glitches, which the thing is he predicted long ago that if Bethesda kept using this same glitchy, buggy engine that they've always been using, eventually it was kind of going to backfire on them. And I kind of think Starfield was that. Meanwhile, you got No Man's Sky, which kind of was a bit of a turd on launch, but has been consistently re-updating and adding new stuff for free for years now. They had one last week. They had another update. And it's like, man, it's the gift that keeps on giving for real. But nobody remembers Starfield. You never hear anyone talking about it. There were never any memes. That's an important thing I think to remember is when something has a cultural impact, it generates memes. People love generating memes about it. That's why like Avatar hasn't really generated a lot of memes except for the humans were right, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we're going to shift topics now to the thing that's been going on. Now, I don't have too much interest in these individuals, never knew about them at all until recently, but I think there are cautionary tales to be had in this drama that's unfolding at the moment, and it's the Emiru versus her ex-boyfriend. What's his name? It'll come up in a second. Mizkif. Emiru versus Mizkif stuff.
This sounds gay already.
Yeah, it kind of is, but it's got some cautionary tale stuff. As I mentioned, now Emiru came to prominence because recently. I guess she's both of these are prominent streamers on Twitch. Like I know or care, but Emiru we talked about her last week because she was sexually assaulted at Twitch, and
she's that Japanese chick.
Yeah, this is her here, and I'll just bring this one up. So these are the two individuals.
Yeah, Empty Veins. He'll read the super chats eventually.
Well, yes. We will. I'll save them all to the end in this stream. But we'll get them.
He'll interrupt it if you pay him $50, though.
No, we have actually had some 50 ones. Big 50. Nathan Cassidy has dropped to 50.
Ignore it.
I missed. We're in the flow. We're in the flow.
Oh no, we're in between stories right now. Read the $50 super chat.
Okay. Mike wants us to pause this and do. My only concern is last time I did that, the super chats last until the end of the stream, and I didn't get.
Well, just read the 50.
Look, if the $50 super chat talks about like Mormon doctrine, probably don't read it yet.
That's right. All I'll pay you that one. That was a good one, Lyndon. All right, Empty Vines for $5 says, in reference to your last stream, you should try Old School Essentials and Dolmen Wood. I think these are in reference to role-playing games. These are refreshing. Oh, man, my throat, me.
There you go. Want some water?
Yeah, no, I got some here. But
Want some coffee, Shad?
No, not coffee. But I have one. These are a fresh first edition D&D and a great, awesome recommendation. Keep that in mind. Nathan Cassidy dropped the big 50. Thank you, man. Our loyal and hardworking mod in the chat there. By the way, a couple of months ago, I found that a lot of YouTube videos can't be viewed in incognito mode without logging in, some with embedded videos on wikis. The claim is to confirm you aren't a bot, another factor to lower view counts to add to the pile. Yeah. There's a lot of crap going on that's making YouTube a disaster these days. It sucks. It's making the user experience so much worse. And dude, thanks for pointing this one out. I'll log that away and keep it in mind. Neo for $2 says, I really enjoyed the book. Thank you, man. I'm glad you did. Thank you very much. Rudy for $5 says, didn't he also reach too far at one point and nearly destroyed his own mind? Isn't that a pretty clear failure to show he isn't perfect? Yes. Like what
are we talking about here? Angry Joe?
Dalen. And John actually mentions that in his review at one point, to talk about the guilt that he deals with from his past. Like Dalen, the character, fails on so many things, right? But reviewers are like, he beats everything and he never loses. It's just, did they read the book? Empty Veins, $5 says, if you're like sci-fi, then check out this series, Galaxy's Edge. It's a mashup of Starship Troopers and Star Wars when it was good and a bit of horror. Galaxy's Edge. Okay.
Galaxy's Edge by shoot.
What, the MMO game? Or that's something else?
No.
Wait. That's a series. I know that one, actually.
Okay. By Wargate Books. I'm trying to remember.
I have the first book.
Author.
Okay. I'll keep it in mind.
I get that reference.
It looked cool.
Wasted Space for $5 says, console wars have been over for a few years now. PlayStation has 5 games?
Jason Anspech. That's the author.
Like, whoa, they got 5 games already? Wow.
Yeah, right.
Pretty impressive.
Ray Gonzalez, $5 says, I remember when Joe was somewhat cool. Now it's just sad to see. Yes. Extanglia for $5 says, 35 trillion debt. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. I don't know the reference to that. I'm a little
38 trillion in debt.
It's a current debt in America.
31,000 years. Okay. Thank you for that super chat. Erudite 1, $5 says, a flip between streams sometimes, and you and Jeremy D-Day Cobra both owning Angry Joe on your streams at the same times right now is hilarious. Shout out to D-Day Cobra. I'm going to have to check that out after this one. And Joe, he does it to himself, the idiot. Like, we wouldn't have even mentioned him if he wasn't spurging out picking fights. And he's so easy to take down because his opinions are so low tier. Like, they're dumb. He's not a critical thinker, this gentleman, when it comes to politics at all. He just thinks everyone else who doesn't agree with him is an idiot. Junior for $5 says, isn't this odd? Look at how much has happened, and Trump has only been president for 9 months. If this keeps up, Trump might make Alberta the 51st.
Yeah, sometimes it kind of does feel like, oh man, Trump is almost done being president. Like, no, it's only been like 9 months.
Yeah, right.
It kind of feels like 4 years.
All right, we're up to date on the super chats, so we're going to get back to the topic. But I saw this. He says, I enjoyed there are new books.
Sorry, before you get started, it is about time for me to go ahead and jet. So, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure as always. Shad, thank you for the invite as well.
My pleasure.
Johnny, you guys take care. God bless.
You do, bro.
Thanks, mate. We will catch you. But Benki in the chat says, I enjoy Shadow of the Conqueror. The new book's being worked on. Yes, but it's not a sequel. This is a new universe, new series. And I am working on it. I'm very excited how it's turning out. It's still got a little bit to go. So
Here's the key to victory, Shad. What you need to do. You need to do a sequel. You have to do a sequel to Shadow the Conqueror, and then do a third book, which is not a sequel, but like an offshoot book, and then wait 11 to 12 years to do the third one.
Okay.
It's called the Patrick Rothfuss technique.
Patrick Rothfuss technique. All right. So this stuff between Mizkif and Emiru, right, is kind of exploding. It's the drama of the day because Emiru dropped a video accusing this other streamer Mizkif of abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, and all this stuff, right? Now, Nux kind of gives a bit of a summary of Mizkif. He says, respecter of women, mass collaborator of female streamers, helps girls in a male-dominated industry, progressive values in politics, racism is bad, he says, gambling is bad, tech tone is bad, feminism is based, he says. And the allegations. Here are the allegations. Allegations of covering up sexual assault. Allegations of sexual assault. Allegations from multiple women. Allegations of stalking women. Allegations of harassing women. Allegations of manipulating women.
Every single, like,
I could have guessed all of that from the first list you listed.
A respecter of women, probably pretty. That kind of tipped me off there. Oh, this is going to end up in sexual allegations, aren't there? Respecter of women, yeah, that's usually how it goes.
It's actually kind of wild, some of this stuff. So I've listened to her whole stream where she writes it down and spells it all out. And she shares a lot of screenshotted like conversation comments of this Mizkif guy spurging and crashing out and being quite, at least verbally abusive. And there is a lot of evidence to support physical abuse. And then she accuses him of sexual abuse. Okay. Now, is it correct or not? Well, I've listened to some of his responses, and his responses confirm a lot of the physical abuse stuff. Like, he admits that he punched holes in walls and slammed doors and spurged out. But guys, what he like revealed, what Emiru did in response, she threw plushies at him.
Oh, that's way worse.
That's like, he says she, was got involved in physical abuse too, and the thing that makes it equivalent is that she threw plushies at him.
But you threw plushies at me, and that was scary.
While he is punching holes in walls. He's punching holes in walls and slamming doors, and some of this, like, crashing out can be heard in the background in some of her streams. So there seems to be good evidence to substantiate this. Now, I am always reluctant to listen. I believe everything when a woman says, what really anyone says, not just a woman, by the way, because when severe, accusations come out that have the potential to ruin someone's life, they need to be, viewed with skepticism and wait for evidence and wait for the other person to share their side.
I still don't believe the women that accused Bill Cosby.
Okay. Because sometimes people lie. And this was my approach with the Daniel Green stuff. We did a full live stream going over all the sexual assault accusations against Daniel Green. And a lot of it turned out to be out of context and made to make Daniel look like a complete villain. All right. And so we didn't jump on the bandwagon here. My assessment currently, after watching a lot of this stuff and watching his reply, I have a feeling there's a lot of validity to Emiru's accusations against this Mizkif guy. And the nature of his reply I found really sad. Like, all it was constructed to try and deflect and attack Emiru and not address any of the things or show any receipts that there were lies. And he even admits and agrees with several of the criticisms. One was the sexual assault one, okay, where he said
he agreed to that.
he tries to frame it that he thought she was into it as they were kissing, because their relationship, it looks like a complete mess. An absolute train wreck after, and what the things that seems to have caused Mizkif to crash out, right, and just spurg out, is the fact that he was jealous that Emiru started to become more popular than him. And he could, and not only does he kind of confirm this, there are multiple other videos of him kind of stating the same thing. There's a video of him talking with one of his exes saying that he would lose it if she became more popular than him, and he equated it to like, it's like when someone beats you in Mario Kart or something like that, and he tries to brush it off and in this flippant joking way, and it turns out that no, it's these actually doesn't seem to be jokes at all, that he really does crash out of jealousy when people that he is associated with close to succeed more than him on stream. This guy,
this kind of what happened between Armored Skeptic and Shoe on Head. Shoe on Head became way more popular than Armored Skeptic after a while.
I don't know the law. I know they were dating. I didn't know he had an issue with the fact that she was more popular.
I think he got because he was supposed to be the alpha Chad, and then she became the leader of the skeptics and everything. And I think he got jealous of that situation.
Shoe on Head attractive?
I think she's has a type that many men could find attractive.
I'm not asking you. You never answered this question correctly.
Because only my wife is the attractive woman for me.
So, yeah, we're just skipping over your answer.
Yeah, that's what she's known for. She's known for being attractive, kind of.
Okay.
I think it's kind of.
Hello, this is YouTube. You can have two equal. You can have somebody who's twice as intelligent and smart and funny and blah blah blah. The hot chick's still going to get more viewers.
And then Shoe on Head got married to a traditional Catholic man.
Okay,
so.
All right. On the attractive discussion, okay. Emiru, many people find her attractive, okay, and I think she's actually just a normal, well proportioned woman. I don't think she's like a supermodel. I think makeup is actually.
You don't have to be a supermodel. That is cute enough.
You don't have to.
And
no, well, makeup is. Come on, makeup is doing most of the heavy lifting here. Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen her without makeup. I think she's just an averagely attractive, decent, person. And
again, your opinion doesn't matter on this.
I know my opinion doesn't matter.
If you look like that and you're on YouTube, you're gonna do better than a guy who is doing the exact same stuff you're doing.
There is a halo effect female privilege thing that is insane when it comes to even mildly attractive women on the internet.
Also, I think Emiru is easier to remember than Mizkif.
Yes, yeah. But I think the things that really like skyrocket Emiru, she cosplays, and that is a big turn on for so many geeks. Like, and then the makeup makes her look really cute, right? But I think take away the makeup, there's a lot of just girls that look conventionally attractive, and they're not like supermodels.
Yeah, but most girls aren't going to go on the internet without makeup on.
Well, that's true. I think the makeup and the cosplay skyrockets her popularity a lot, and of course, she was becoming quite popular, and she was dating Mizkif, and Mizkif starts crashing out. And she shares some examples, right, of this crash out. There was a moment when she was doing a joint live stream with Mizkif and some others on Rust, and Mizkif is like really energetic and is engaged and is all into it, right? And then he finds out that Emiru surpasses him in live viewers, and his enthusiasm dies, and he gets depressed, and then he just logs out. He logs out, right?
But they're doing. I'm a trans woman.
No.
So
but they're
get more viewers.
They're actually live streaming in the same house. They're live streaming in the same house, and Emiru is surprised that he's logged out. And then she suddenly goes, I need to go to the bathroom. And she doesn't come back for 20 minutes. And she explains, she leaves. And it's because this guy was slamming doors, crashing out, spurging out, because she had more views than him.
Wow.
And holy crap, how much of a narcissist do you have to be? This guy is a hugely successful streamer. Yet that success is not enough because someone is beating him. That to me, really exposes a toxic aspect to this online creator sphere, and that it's really not good for young people's mental health. I don't think this guy, right, probably one of the worst things that ever happened to this guy's mental health was becoming a successful online influencer, because it's messed him up massively in the head, and he seems like a bit of an absolute narcissist in that sense, and maybe even sociopath. Like the fact that Emiru shared an account of one time where he got upset about something, and he was driving in their car, and so he accelerated to a crazy speed, and then mentions that we could both die now, and it seems like he used that as a type of power trip, because he can't stand that his girlfriend doesn't do what he wants or becomes more successful. It seems like he's hugely controlling, and to the point where he has
How old is this guy?
I think he must be in his 20s. These people now. That thing about him being an insane driver when he's upset, right, has been corroborated by other people. There was this male streamer that said he did that to him as well. And so these like, accusations Emiru is dropping are getting corroborated by like other people. Like, that's why there seems to be more validity to this, and why I'm leaning to think that there's more truth to it, trying to be skeptical and hear both sides. I'll get to his kind of reaction response to it, right? But one of the excuses he gives is that it's been his bad mental health, which is why he, has done bad things. And he says...
the bad headspace technique.
The bad headspace technique. Asmongold had a very salient and, I think, good response to this. In fact, I think I might have this clip. Was it this one? Let me see if it's this one. Asmongold explains why he's biased. Maybe it's this. We'll try and... Because he knows a lot of the background of what's been going on. In actual fact, there was something that happened when... like Mizkif, right? This guy was constantly telling Emiru to stop talking about her stalkers and things. And he claims it was because it was protecting her, when it really felt like this control tactic. And then he goes on a stream and starts to talk about all her stalkers. So what? He can get the attention and the views from it?
You don't get to talk about your stalkers. I get to talk about your stalkers.
Right?
All right.
Emiru kind of freaks out about this and tries to message him to get it taken down. And to the point where they're living in a house that Asmongold either runs, or like a streaming house, right? Or is associated with. And so Asmongold is involved in this type of stuff, of what's been going on. So Asmongold even tries to call this guy to tell him to shut up, okay? And he gets hung up on and stuff. And so he has involvement with what's going on. And this is one of his comments in regards to his kind of view of what's happening.
Of course I'm biased. Duh. What do you think? Of course I'm biased. Because I know what happened. Yeah, obviously you're going to be biased. If you know something about a situation that is more than what the public would know, then yes, obviously you're going to be biased about it, because you know things that... Were you there? In some of these cases, yes.
Okay, this isn't... he shares a specific comment at one point in response to Mizkif saying, I was in the bad mental space. And I think that's actually a fair comment, right?
Why does his voice sound so weird? His voice sounded kind of altered or something.
Yeah, it sounded a bit echoey there. I don't know why. But he basically says, like, even if you have bad mental health, that does not excuse you from treating people poorly or even with violence, all right? There's no excuse at all, and people try and brush off or excuse too much terrible behavior because of poor mental health. Now, I do think this guy has very poor mental health, right? I think the whole influencer success treadmill thing has gotten to his head to the point where he is so messed up that he can't even appreciate the huge success he has, and the fact that other people do better that makes him spurg, right? That's completely, something wrong with your own head and signs of strong narcissism. Okay. And so because he's crashing out, he admits to punching holes in walls and doing all this messed up stuff. That's not an excuse, right? I can't speak for everyone else, but most people go through bouts of depression and poor mental health. I certainly have in my life, right? And we're not physically assaulting or abusing our loved ones through the process. I'm assuming you gentlemen, can speak to that as well when you're going through hard things.
I'm pretty sure
I've never had depression.
Becoming angry or depressed and then abusing your loved ones is a sign of a very, very weak man.
Yeah, I would agree. And we should consider it weak and pathetic, because a real man wouldn't do that. Even when they're going through hard times, you don't abuse, physically mistreat or assault your loved ones. Their relationship was on the rocks. They kind of broke it off. And then in this time where it was like was it broken off or not, and everything like that. They talk about potentially trying to get back together, work things out. And so they meet up. Emiru starts crying on his shoulder, and Mizkif takes that as a sign to, oh, she's coming on to him when she's crying on his shoulder. I'm not sure that's kind of like a sign of a woman, but he starts to kiss her and then pin her down, thinking that because
that escalated pretty quickly.
Yeah, that escalated.
Like, wait a minute.
Now I don't know if Emiru kissed him back or not, and she, I think she must have been, and then Mizkif thinks that's a sign that she's into it, and so throws her down. When I say pin, I don't know if I was like aggressively or anything like that, but that, and then he starts to get handsy on her and shove his hands down her pants, and she squeals in response to that. And he jumps off saying...
Squeals or screams? There's a difference between squeal.
There is a difference.
Scream.
I think it's a squeal. I'm not sure this was like a scream.
Because a squeal's not necessarily a no.
Well, I think you could take it as a pretty clear sign, Mike.
It depends on what the squeal is. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
just saying that's not an accurate, not a very good descriptive.
I think in most cases you can take it as that she's not into it, right?
Matthew says she's Chinese. They squeal.
Those are different types of squeals, okay?
I don't mean to make it fun, but
he jumps off immediately when that happens, saying, I felt like I did something wrong. It feels weird now. And he leaves. Now, that's the claim of sexual assault. I think it's very muddy, one way or another. There are other claims that he has tried to push things too far. Again, I don't know how valid those claims are. I think there's far more. Again, like, obviously it's inappropriate. And you'd think you'd be able to read the room that, like, you're on the rocks in your relationship, okay? So maybe trying to, push it to something physical right away in response to someone crying, like, is very, very poor judgment to begin with. And so, of course, it's inappropriate. People tend to, like, lump all sexual assault as, like, rape, and is like, no, okay, there is a scale of severity. This is bad. I'm not saying it isn't, but is it the worst? Okay. I think
it sounds like he figured out she wasn't into it and stopped.
And yes,
so that's just making a bad move.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more criticism to be had against him for his physical and mental abuse that he's kind of admitted to, honestly, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't sound like a Prince Charming, exactly.
No, and the pathetic nature that it's because of views and clout, and it's like, dude, how insecure must you be to get so triggered by this crap, right? That's pretty darn pathetic.
I bet you YouTube is the first time he's ever gotten attention for anything in his life.
Not even YouTube. This is Twitch streamers. Oh. Yeah. Something that made him look, in my mind, really pathetic and bad. Okay. In his defense of Emiru, by the way, Emiru, in her exposing of this, she preempts something. She says that she was told by either friends or associates that Mizkif was collecting dirt on her to try and destroy her if she ever spoke about his abuse, right? That's very,
that's monstrous. That is like a sociopathic move.
That is sociopathic scumbaggery right there, where he knows he's been a scumbag trying to cover his own ass. It seems like he's done it to multiple people, and then he's collecting dirt on it. And one of the dirt that he had collected was that Emiru is somehow an animal abuser and got her own rabbits killed, right? Emiru mentions that this is the type of stuff that he's been collecting, and that it's taking things out of context or, blowing it out of proportion, right?
Well, now, were these rabbits being bred for food?
No, they were pets. I'm thinking about breeding rabbits for food, so I don't have anything against killing animals.
If you name them, apparently it's animal abuse.
What if you name them dinner?
Well, it's technically a name, I guess.
You're like, dinner, lunch, amuse-bouche, come on.
Let me just see where we are. So, okay, because there's some relevant super chats that I think it's worth quickly jumping on because we don't know. So I'll quickly grab. Okay, we got that one. So yeah, Starry Night mentions this in regards to the Emiru. Starry Night, $10 says, Emiru described it as him kissing her while she was crying and thinking he was doing it to comfort her. So I don't think she was kissing him back. Okay. Also, she said she screamed, not squealed. Okay. Well,
Okay, that's different.
Okay, screamed. Yes. And new member, Lord Pterodax. Thank you, sir. Good to have you, man. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, so she mentions that she knows Mizkif has been collecting this type of dirt, right? In Mizkif's response, in response to the allegations of physical and sexual assault, he still tries to do the rabbit thing and says, and it's the most pathetic, weird thing ever, where it's like, she's a bad person. She's really bad, guys. Even though this doesn't address any of the allegations against me, I'm going to talk about her mistreating her rabbits.
It's so like, weird. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, well, sexual assault? Sure. But at least I didn't, at least I'm not rude. It's kind of one of those things.
Yeah, at least I didn't abuse rabbits. And then
did you know Chinese people eat dogs?
It's the weirdest thing, and this really kind of comes off as sociopathic, like insecurity, and just trying to attack her back for any reason at all. That's completely divorced. Like, I thought this was you supposed to be trying to vindicate yourself, and it's a really bad look that it's just this. It's just trying to smear her, and the evidence he gives of this supposed rabbit abuse is it's like this closely cropped video that doesn't show anything like the larger context of, are the rabbits in the cages? Where are the cages? Are the cages in the middle of being cleaned or anything like that? It's just trying to show like oh, this mess in the rabbits or something like that. It didn't come off as strong evidence. And even if right, it's true, which I don't think it is, that Emiru neglected her rabbits to the point of them dying, that just means she's like, a bit forgetful. Okay. Yeah. Right. It's not like she's murdering babies or anything like this. I mean,
I remember we did that to a rat when I was a kid. We went for vacation or something, came back, and it was like mummified in its cage, like with its teeth like locked around the bar because it was trying to get out to find some food or something like that. We didn't do it on purpose, but it is what it is. They're rodents. Who cares?
I'll talk about rats. And look,
rats and rabbits are both rodents.
Rabbits?
Right?
I like wild rabbits.
Rabbits are rodents, right?
Wild rabbits, especially in Australia, are considered vermin. Vermin that needs to be destroyed. Invasive species. They do a lot of damage.
Like emus.
Emus are...
all right, we won't go there.
Vermin. I'll call them vermin.
Don't bring up the emos, Mike.
The gun the emo wars have.
So it's this whole mess that's blowing up with Asmongold commenting, adding his context, because like I said, he's a bit involved. And Texone talk about him. And again, Mizkif, he reportedly, he either laughed or joked about Charlie Kirk being assassinated. So that's already scumbag territory talk to you, right?
Deport him.
He's attacked Textone disingenuously and all these things. He doesn't seem like a decent person at all, especially with what's been going on. And I never watched him to begin with, okay? But this is a very bad look. It might destroy his career. And if so, it's like, mate, you just need to move on then. I don't, how much are people going to support you after this? My interest in it is the fact that so much of his like crashing out and that made him such a crazy idiot is because of his own success. Okay, that this seems really strongly affected by the social media thing, and I've kind of talked about this in a video in the past, where there's a lot of stupid social media influencers that get big based on either being able to be mildly funny or interesting, or like sometimes you don't even know why, and it's this weird inverse reality where fame nowadays is so weird and different, where back in the past, like celebrity fame, movie stars and stuff, you didn't know much about them. Now not only do you know so much about these people that are mega famous, it can happen so quickly to young people where they're not prepared for it, and it just messes with their heads. And I think Mizkif is a clear example of someone like this, where and it's no excuse for what is done. Like, an actual, decent person, a man, right, doesn't abuse other people even when they're going through mental issues. And the cause for his mental issues is pretty pathetic. It's like, oh, someone was succeeding better.
He has
than
more
you.
streamers that stream live viewers than I do.
More live viewers than him. How pathetic is that? Right?
It's kind of interesting how this correlates to like all the child star drama we've seen throughout the decades, right?
Yeah.
And how it's like, oh, should you put kids? Because like it was like 9 out of 10 child stars ended up being like crackheads and whatever, just prostitutes or whatever. It was just they just ruined their lives being famous that young, and now we have a whole system that allows people to be famous that young. Yeah,
and Nathan Cassidy says a lot of these streamers have bad Arrested Development. Yeah, man. And then Nathan Cassidy also has a super chat dropping $4.99. Says Mizkif was also one of the Nuz cancel.
Oh no,
Nuisance streamers in Gibbet. Oh, Nuisance, yeah, because he did like monkey bar things on a Sakura
trees apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, is he like one of those people that you watch them doing their stuff and you really want to punch him in the face?
Yeah, it's one of those. Like Johnny Somali. Like he's one of those types.
Not to that level. Not to that level. But he swung on a Sakura tree while they were blooming, which is a major taboo there. Nathan Cassidy says. Yeah, and he got massively triggered by people criticizing him. Like there's another smaller streamer who was Japanese origin or Asian origin criticized him and came out that he spurged out against her. And so
he looks like he didn't get MMA fighters hunting him down like Johnny Somali did.
Yeah. Right. So that's kind of my view of what's going on. And as I said, I kind of do lean more in believing what's happening with Emiru. And Mizkif is kind of like, it's just so he was a scumbag, destroyed his own career. And he doesn't seem to be taking any account. He's just trying to, attack Emiru back, saying, "Oh, she abuses rabbits, so she's a terror, and she threw plushies at me."
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the specifics are, or what to believe in the specific, but he does sound like a generally unpleasant person.
Yeah, you can listen to his response, and there's a lot of kind of commentary on it. And I listened to his response, and it didn't convince me. Didn't convince me and made him look worse, honestly. That's not a good way to respond to stuff like this. Starry Night for $5 says, well, a lot of child stars were also abused in some way. So, yeah, there's some horrifying stuff.
I remember, I know this has not little to do with it, but I remember when Brittany went kind of nuts for the first time and like shaved her head and like the whole world went after her and said she was losing her mind and all that stuff. You remember that? I remember Sinead O'Connor came out to defend her because she's like, you have no idea what it's like to be 16, 17 years old, come from nothing, and then suddenly you're the biggest name in pop culture. You don't have a clue what that does to your head because it drove Sinead nuts.
Oh, yeah.
It drove her nuts. Obviously, look at Brittany. She shows how nuts she is every day. So,
we'll end off on a slightly brighter kind of topic. Yay. A new trailer has dropped, and this thing looks awesome. It is called Last Samurai Standing.
Is Tom Cruise in it? Is that Tom Cruise also?
No. It's a series that follows 300 samurai warriors gathered together who fight a battle royale to win 100 billion yen prize. And
wait, is this Squid Game?
No. It actually looks pretty hardcore. I need to share the audio. We can't watch it all. I might do a deep dive reaction to this on Shadiversity because the sword fighting in this stuff some of it looks really good. And so Last Samurai Standing, this is the trailer. Right there, that
Keanu Reeves.
I was just like, what? No, it's not. I thought it might have been, but that's not Keanu Reeves. Kind of.
Dude, it looks just like him.
That's
It's Timu Keanu Reeves.
so. I want to
This
show
is cool though.
these-
I do like death games. I like the
Yeah.
death game genre. But Squid Games, I hate and love. I hate because it made me stay up all night, and I lost a lot of sleep. Like I stay up till dawn watching Squid Games because it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
some
I'm
of the-
down. I'll watch this for sure.
This looks pretty cool. So they seem to get like a prize per life in this samurai,
It kind
battle
of feels like
royale
Squid
thing.
Game a little.
This
That's
feels
like
like
everyone
just like-
dies.
This is a guy's movie. It's just like action,
It looks awesome.
high octane fighting, and the choreography. Some of this choreography looks.
Go. It looks
Do
awesome.
they have to
I wanna-
collect the heads like they used to in the old samurai days?
I don't know, but I want to show one of these exchanges, and I might do a deep dive.
I think all you gotta do is live. Oh, is this during like the? It's like during the Meiji era.
Meiji
Like it's during the
era.
Meiji era. It looks like.
Mm.
Which
Look at it.
means this is illegal, right? Would this be illegal?
Possibly.
Because they can't have swords.
Come on, show me where. Like, there's a. Yeah, is it this one? But a
There's a
lot of
monster.
this looks good.
You know what? I think that this kind of makes sense if this is in the Meiji era because as we learned from Rurouni Kenshin, there's like a whole bunch of warriors who like have nothing to do. They're all poor, and so like that'd be kind of cool. Like we're offering all this money to the warrior who survives, and like oh, this is the only way I can get some money. So it does fit like it being in the Meiji era.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! Look at that! I was like, oh, okay. You've got my attention with something like this. I need to break this down. Like, look at how fast this. I'm like, okay, all right, you have my attention. One thing that I love about Asian cinema, right? They have this like superhuman level sword fighting to show that like if you train with the sword, you can such a insane master. Like, I love that, but I also want to see this type of respect to epic sword fighting in Western media. I want to see like two knights go like long sword fight like this. Look at that! Look at that freaking wicked! What? So yes, you have my attention. That is called Last Samurai Standing.
When does it come out?
It's going to be released on November 13th on Netflix.
It's funny this is coming to Netflix. You guys could use your VPNs and just go to Japanese Netflix and probably watch like 100 different shows like this.
Possibly. Alrighty, but we have reached the end of this fun stream. I appreciate you guys. Been great. Thank you everyone for joining us. And as we wrap up, Mike, is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to share?
God
Mike?
bless us, everyone.
Everyone.
That's it.
Follow
Follow me on Whatnot if you want to, watch me draw stuff and maybe pick up a commission. This is obviously Marvel Zombies, Scarlet Witch. So I'll be doing that one tonight over there.
Awesome. And Lit Dev, anything you would like to mention, sir?
Oh yes, I still have the comic. Lady Midnight Devils dwell in Silent Springs on Indiegogo. Only 9 days left, so pick yourself up a copy.
Come on, everyone! Grab a copy while you can. It's good stuff.
And by the way, this is this hardcover cover. It's that's traditionally painted. It's a traditional hand painted painting. I went all out on this campaign.
Yeah. Come on, everyone. That's right. So, can we drop a link? Do we have a link to share that in the chat? If we can, Dev, do you have a link to it? And I can drop it in the chat.
This. Let me see here. They changed a lot of stuff for Indiegogo. Hold on. There we go. But there we go.
Awesome. All right. Let me copy that and say check it out. There we go. All right. And thank you everyone for joining us as always. We appreciate you. We will see you next week. Oh, I wonder what will happen next week. There's always a surprise. So you don't know what may come. But until that time, stay on watch.